So we're talking about Stevie Yzerman. There's a lot of rumors that the Red Wings have offered him the sky, the sun, and the moon in the chapel. And here's my view on this, and I'm going to leave it to you guys. I think he's a loyal guy. I really believe his heart and soul is in Detroit. He played his whole career there. But I don't think he's going to leave Tampa until he finishes what he came to start.
Well, I can tell you this. A lot of all the rumors are everywhere, but I was told by a very, very reliable guy that he decided that he just wanted to be closer to his family and kids for this year, and that he would be a consultant to Brisebois and the Lightning all year long. He'd be to a few games. He wouldn't be like he is every game at the game all the time, but he would be there, and he'd be available to Brisebois for anything and be consultant on anything and everything. Now, as far as next year is concerned, I can tell you I was told that right now he's not talking about anything about past this year. And yes, Frank, he really regrets that they didn't win a Stanley Cup as he is general manager. But he'd take it if they could win this year.
I'm a big fan of Stevie Yzerman, as you're well aware, Phil.
Yep.
I think he's one of the greatest unsung heroes of this magnificent game.
Oh, yeah. And he did a masterful job, and make no mistake, Brisebois was involved in almost everything with Steve. No matter what deal he made, whatever, Brisebois was very, very involved.
That's why Steve Yzerman is as successful as he is.
You're absolutely
He knows how to use people and use them properly, and that's half the battle.
Well, let me tell you guys something. For me, my interpretation, I always liked Stevie Y when he played for the Detroit Red Wings. I always thought he was a stand-up guy. I always thought that he was a very underrated, even though he was technically a franchise player. He was underrated in between the Gretzkys and the Mario Lemieux and the Matt Sundins. I always loved him. But when I thought that Steve Yzerman had big, giant fucking balls, when he traded Martin Louis, and got players and
Ryan Callahan.
A lot of people said he fucked up. He looked like a fucking nuclear physicist.
Except he was dealing with Glenn Sather. If you want to look at Glenn Sather's track record, you'd realize why Stevie picked his pockets. 3 first-round picks for Martin St. Louis?
Yeah, but think about this. Think about this, Phil. Whether you like him or not, Glenn Sather ran a dynasty for a long time, had one of the best teams in the world. Then they sold the Edmonton Oilers, the whole team, to the New York Rangers, and then they became very competitive, right? I apologize if it sounds disrespectful, but I believe that's true. But Glenn Sather is a very well-polished, he's been in that management for a long fucking time. Yes or no?
Yeah. He did.
Look at his record. In my view, for a fucking rookie like Yzerman to fleece him, that impressed the fuck out of me.
Well, and the other thing, and Frank, you're right. They had a dynasty in Edmonton, and everybody in hockey knows why. There was only one player who ever played in the OHL or the CHL, whichever you prefer, Canada or the 3 other leagues, and was never, ever exposed in the draft. Yeah. And his name was Wiener Gretzky.
That's right.
So you can take all that Edmonton got and what they did and stick it up your ass.
Yeah, and don't forget what Sather did to steal all those Oilers to the New York Rangers, too.
Listen. You made a very valid point, and I'm not going to argue with you. But let me tell you this about the New York Rangers. And the New York Rangers, even though they won the Cup many years after Phil Esposito was gone, they should fucking put their lips on a Stairmaster and kiss his ass. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Phil Esposito, when he was there, you know who he picked as a superstar goalie? Mike Richter.
And speaking of, with Steve Yzerman, if you go back to April 5th and put our hands in the air, I think a lot of the people on this panel thought Tampa Bay would win the Stanley Cup. I, in my heart of hearts, would. So was Steve Yzerman to step down a day before training camp? Was it unfinished business? Or was...
I know the reason why.
All right.
The reason why was Jeff Vinnick was out of the country. He was with his wife on this, I don't know whether it was a safari or something. They were gone. And he knew about it, but he told Stevie to wait till he came back because Jeff tried to talk him out of it.
I heard the same thing. Listen.
Gotcha.
I believe, and I could be wrong, Yzerman's going to end up in Detroit and be the president.
I agree with you, Frank. I do.
And anybody who doesn't believe that, I'm going to sell them a turnip truck.
All right. Why wouldn't it be sooner than later? Because who does Detroit have in charge?
Because I believe what Phil said is accurate. I believe that Stevie Yzerman has got a great relationship with the ownership, Winnick.
1 year left on his contract of a lot of money, and he's being paid, and he wants to honor that.
Got it.
And he also loves Tampa.
And don't forget, Yzerman is the golden boy of the Ilitch family. Mike's gone, and I'm not sure Mrs. Ilitch is gone, but Steve Yzerman was their boy.
And Billy, do you think he would become the GM or the president?
I would think that there will be a meeting of three people. Whoever represents the Ilitch family, Steve Yzerman, and Kenny Holland. What do you want to do, Kenny? Kenny says, well, I was waiting to talk to you about it, but I'm going to Seattle.